I've been up in the right kind of on what? Nigga, shit so fucking hard, yeah. What? Nerve sad to sad, I've been serving and the fag, I've been serving and the fab out the pen. How my nigga work around the platform and chirp around that, nigga serving and the fab out the pen. I love my nigga.
This live stream may contain content that could be perceived as shocking or offensive, but it is presented solely for educational purposes. Viewer discretion is advised. We strive to adhere to community guidelines, and any potentially sensitive material is shared with the intent of fostering understanding and learning.
Yo, what is going on, peeps? It's your boy, Atypical Security Guard, coming to you with Sunday Night Live. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a couple of different topics. We're going to be breaking down some video footage. Cam Newton, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Cam Newton was recently jumped at his like 7-on-7 football camp or whatever. This is not the first time that Cam Newton, the former quarterback, MVP winning quarterback, Super Bowl quarterback, national champion, Auburn University quarterback, current podcaster. This is not the first time that he's gotten into it with a group of kids. I don't know if the guys who jumped him were kids, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to get to that. It's not my first topic, but man, this dude has got to figure it the fuck out. He is too grown and too rich to be in situations where he is constantly getting into these fights. But speaking of fights, we're going to be talking about restraint in the act of defense. I came across a video on the amazing platform known as Reddit, where all the great security guards live and breathe, and where all of the great information on how to do your job properly and be successful as a security guard can be found. It's all found on Reddit, right? But there was a video that popped up, and man, was it out of pocket. Guys, listen, I want to have a conversation today about having a level of restraint when you get into these hands-on situations. I understand that every one of us, no matter where we're working, what we're doing, what capacity of security that we're working in, we have the right to defend ourselves. We all have the right to self-defense, personal protection. That goes without saying. But we should not, in any situation, be literally getting into a back and forth and a fight with people. And for damn certain, we should not be taking it to the level of which I'm about to show you. I am sharing this video under fair use. I have already given the disclaimer. I do not have a owner of the video to attribute rights to other than Reddit. I will put that in the video description once this is uploaded. And I will stop this just short of showing what happens at the end of this. But again, looks to be a security guard working a post. Looks like it might be a retail location. And let's just play it. We'll play it through. We'll break it down. We'll go over it a couple times, and we'll do what we do. All right, here we go.
Touch my shit again, bitch. You about to lose your job, bitch. Bitch.
I'm stopping it right there so I don't get some sort of issue with YouTube. But you guys get the general gist of what happens, right? So there is a back and forth. These guys are throwing punches or whatever. Security guard disengages, goes back, shoots for a hell of a double leg. As somebody who has recently just got back into jiu-jitsu, I got to say, man, nice technique, okay? But shooting for the double leg, he picks this guy up and he drops him on his head. Guys, look, I'm not certain that this person is not, paralyzed or dead in this situation. We'll watch the video again one more time. Let's go ahead and bring it back in. I will say this, guys. Look, in any situation, when the person that you're engaging with is backing up, you are then becoming the aggressor. There's going to be some of you who are going to argue with me. I don't know what happened before this situation. Anything and everything could have happened before this video starts. Okay, I'm 100% aware of that. But what we're seeing right now, from the video that we're seeing right now, this guy who is potentially the subject, the guy on the left, He's clearly backing up, and the security guard is walking towards him. This does not look like a situation where he is in self-defense and is doing this in terms of protecting himself in this moment. He actually disengages and then is going to go right back and then shoot for that double leg. Let's go ahead and continue.
Touch my shit again, bitch. You about to lose your job, bitch. Bitch.
Orange sweater, green sweater, orange sweater, and green sweater.
I don't understand. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You have let me catch myself here before I go. I honestly, I don't even know what to say anymore in these situations. If you have the opportunity to pick this person up and drop them on their head, you have the opportunity to at least take them down to the ground, right? And it's just the lack of foresight and thought of what happens after this. There's no justifying why you drop this guy on his head. More than likely, let's just say best case scenario, he's vastly fucked up, that he's not dead and he's not paralyzed, right? There's no way to justify that. I'm honestly, I'm at a loss of words. Anybody have any thoughts on this? Maybe you guys can break this down better than I can break it down, because aside from saying that it's not necessary and that didn't need to happen, there's really nothing else to say about it. Like your company, you are going to get cut from that location. More than likely, you're going to get fired from your job. And in this situation, if this gets, any sort of press, your company's going to get cut. Everybody's going to lose that contract. It's a hell of a double leg. I agree, Samuel. Hell of a double leg, right? When keeping it real goes wrong, 100%. But when keeping it real goes wrong on both sides of the equation, because that's a situation where now, more than likely, I don't know. There's no way I can continue to break down these videos other than to say that it's not necessary. Don't do it. Don't do it. If the guy is outside your door and he's talking shit, let him be outside the door talking shit. The second that you step out that door, once they've left the business, once they've left the establishment, short of them doing something that is so egregious that you have to go out there, the second that you step outside that door, you are setting off a series of events that you have no control over. Because once you've stepped out there and that person has already left the property, they've already left the business, they've already left the interior of the store, which I'm going to assume, in my case, that's where this person is charged with working. Once you step out that door and that person hasn't done anything that needs to lead to you doing this, you could potentially and more than likely be seen as the aggressor. So I don't recommend it. Let's get to Cam Newton. My question in terms of Cam Newton is it worth it? When I say that, is it worth it for Cam Newton? And is it worth it for his security detail? I don't understand why Cam Newton continues to associate and put himself around people where he's constantly being put in this situation. There's a video from maybe, I would say 3 or 4 years ago where he's at a camp. And, we've just gotten to a point right now where everybody's so disrespectful. People just say whatever. That is a huge issue that we have online, huge issue that we have on social media. But we just have a generation of society where people just think that they can say whatever, right? Very prevalent here on YouTube as well. But Cam Newton is at a football camp and he's walking around, and these kids, they're junior high school age kid, they're high school age kids. And they're calling Cam Newton a bum. They're like, yeah, you're a bum. Yeah, you're a fucking loser. You're a piece of shit. They're just like calling this grown man out of his name, number one. They're on the field at this camp, at this clinic. And you've got a national champion, Heisman winning football player. You've got a Super Bowl quarterback, someone that, for the most part, none of us would ever even be in that orbit, right? But these guys who are saying that they want to be football players, they want to be college football players, they want to be NFL football players. They're in the presence of this person and they're talking to him like they're on Discord. They're just, it's crazy, right? But instead of Cam being a professional and being an adult and just, ignoring the situation and leaving the area, he turns and he engages with these kids. He walks over and he's like, yeah, but I'm a pro though. Yeah, but I'm a millionaire. I got more money than your dad, like this, that, and the third. And it's like when that situation happened, I'm watching it and I'm going, this could have gone south so quick, right? Like at any given time, like he could have said something and this kid, puts his finger in his face, or he does this or does that. Like it's not necessary. And that's exactly what seems to have happened in this most recent situation. Now, there's a longer video, but I couldn't find a video where people weren't, talking and had their face on the video. There's a longer video that shows that this fight starts like on a stage, and then it devolves into them fighting kind of in this other area. So the video that I'm going to show you, it's from a short, and it's a shorter version of the fight. But this fight, there's like 7 or 8 people involved. Again, this is Cam Newton fighting people at a 7-on-7 football clinic. Here we go. Let's play that again. What are you guys' thoughts on something like that? My issue is like, if you're working security, the opportunity to be around some of these celebrities, we have a very prominent nightclub. I'm not going to say the name of the nightclub, but it's very close to where I live, very close to where I work. A lot of hip hop artists, Too Short was there recently, like NBA Youngboy, like a lot of people come through this location. It's a very, very famous nightclub. And I've been asked on multiple occasions to come down there and work security. I've actually been asked if I would be willing to submit a bid to see if I would like to take over running security for that location. I think that a lot of times, as guards, we look at those opportunities to be around famous people, to be around influential people. You see a lot of videos right now, security guards with this guy, what's his name, Jack Dorsey or Jack Dordery or whatever. But, a lot of security guards working around influencers. Is it worth it to be in that situation? If Cam Newton is going to continue to put himself in these situations where he's around people who clearly do not have his best interest at heart, people who are clearly, looking to incite violence from him or with him, looking to get into these issues with him, is that a job that you as a security guard should be taking? I think that, for me, as I've gotten older, like I don't want to be involved in these situations. I don't want to be wrestling with people. I don't want to be fighting with people. I will. And if I have to defend myself or my client, I will do so to the utmost of my ability. But what I don't want to be is in a situation where these types of things are happening when they don't have to happen. That is something that I'm seeing way too much. And definitely Cam Newton's name is coming up more and more in these situations. Next topic is going to be med patches. The need for bright med patches on your uniform. For those of you who have seen my plate carrier, I have always been a fan of like the subdued or the blacked out patches. My medical patch that's on my my med pouch, it's a black cross. I've had a patch before that had like black backing and then it had the white writing. But the reason why I bring this up is that I was listening to, I think it's maybe, is it Patty Mayo or Reno May or whoever, the prep medic? That's what it was. I was listening to the prep medic. Prep medic was talking about people putting certain types of medical patches on their pouches and how as a paramedic, like you don't even look at that. He was like, as a paramedic, if we have to attend to a law enforcement officer, we have to attend to a security guard, like we already understand what we're looking at. We're not going to worry about what blood type patch you might potentially have on your med pouch. We're going to do certain things. We're going to test certain things. It's not necessary to have that on your uniform. But that got me thinking. In a lot of situations for private security, the people that find you are more than likely going to be your everyday average citizen, right? For me, working in a grocery store, it dawned on me yesterday that I have a deadly, and when I say deadly, I have a very highly allergic reaction to shellfish. Well, now that we're in a situation where we're checking receipts and we're having all of these customers that are exiting the store and they're handing me their receipts, I started kind of looking through, what people have in their bags. So a lot of people coming through with shrimp, with lobster tails, with crab legs, right? I do a great job of staying away from shellfish on a daily basis, but in the capacity of checking people's receipts and having interaction with customers as they're coming and going, it's not out of the realm of possibility that I could grab a receipt, talk to a person, have someone come up and shake my hand, and potentially be exposed to shellfish and then have that allergic reaction. So I started thinking, it's probably in my best interest, and I would say that it's in your best interest if you're working in these environments as well, to not have subdued medical patches, not having the blacked out patches, not having, if you're wearing a desert cam or a camo, to have a medical patch that blends in with that. I'm going to be ordering tonight, as soon as I'm done with this stream, a very bright red cross that's going to go on my uniform. My carrier is black, my pouch is black, but I want to make sure that if the random everyday customer or if some associate that works in the store, if I have some sort of medical emergency and I am not in a position where I can talk or articulate myself, I want them to know that that is where my medical equipment is. Now, when we're talking about medical equipment, what are some of the med pouch must-haves? We've talked a lot about, whether or not you should have one tourniquet, you should have two tourniquets, whether or not you should have chest seals, or if you should have quick clot, all of the things that are basically set around responding to and dealing with an active shooter, right? An active shooter, the potential issues of you being shot, you being harmed, how are you going to address that? But we've never really talked about or addressed the things that we all deal with, right? Some of you that are watching this now or watching this in the future, maybe you're a type 1 diabetic. Maybe you're a type 2 diabetic. Maybe like me, you have a shellfish allergy. I actually have 2 EpiPens that I have in one bag that's normally in my car, but those EpiPens should actually be in my med pouch, right? If you have heart condition, if you have some sort of other medical issues where you need to be able to have that known to the people that are dealing with you, that's something that you should have in your med pouch. So I have been thinking about getting a laminated card. You can purchase these ID cards off of Amazon, and they're basically like an emergency kit ID. You put your name, you put your closest contact, your emergency contact, and then there's a place for you to write on there if you have certain allergies, if you're allergic to certain medication, if you have any known issues, things like medical bracelets or medical necklaces. Those are all things that we should have on our body, things that we should have on our kit, that unfortunately, for whatever reason, we don't think about that. We're always thinking about the outward threat. We're always thinking about how we can service the people that we're working with or the people that we might come in contact with. But more importantly than anything else, especially if you're over the age of 40, or if you have any sort of medical issues, you should have this stuff on your own person, making sure that if you ever in a situation where you're unconscious and you can't articulate what's going on, that you have that on your body. Also, I think we should be talking to our partners, the people that we're working with, maybe some of the clients that we're working with, about any medical issues that we have, so that if anything happens, they know this. This is clearly something that is more important to me, seeing as I actually have some medical issues and I've had some medical problems over the past 2 years. I want to make sure that as of tonight, I address that and make sure when I go to work tomorrow, I share that with the people that I'm working with. Okay. Speaking of sharing information with the people that you work with, I want to talk about the unintended consequences of taser usage. Most of you guys are aware that if you utilize a taser after you have utilized OC spray, that can become an issue of having a flammable reaction. I'm assuming that most of you are either using Saber products, which are specifically formulated to be flame retardant, right? I think there's a couple of other companies out there that make law enforcement grade OC spray that does not, catch fire. It's not flammable. But a lot of people, when they're purchasing their OC spray, they're just getting it off of Amazon. Sometimes you're picking up some OC spray at your local gun store. Maybe you're getting it from even a law enforcement store. But if you're not looking and you're not making sure that you don't have a flammable OC spray, you could have an issue if you have to then go to your taser in that force continuum. There are videos out there of people going up like Roman candles after they've been pepper sprayed and then hit with a taser. I didn't think that it was prudent for me to try and add those to the video stream tonight. I didn't want to get a ding or have the video further suppressed. It's going to probably already be an issue with the fights that we have on here. But if you look up videos of people that are having a flammable reaction to getting tased, it's horrific. There was a situation that happened in Florida where there was a legal car stop. The police officer is interacting with the person, legally uses pepper spray on this person, legally escalates the use of force and goes to his taser, and this person, erupts into flames. The lawyer for the person that ends up getting burned, this guy's got like 70% third degree burns over 70% of his body, right? The lawyer is arguing like disparity of force based on the crime. So his argument is that this person was burned over 70% of his body, third degree burns, and that based on the outcome of the situation that he's been exposed to, that he put himself in, that this is now a disparity of force. Now, this is going to be argued and it's going to be litigated, but it made me think about security. If you're working private security, take my situation, for example. We make a stop on someone for shoplifting and it's a minor amount. Let's say it's $30-40 worth of, cases of beer. And that situation turns into a hands-on situation and it escalates to pepper spray. And then that escalates into deployment of taser. And this person erupts into flames. What would the result of the optics of that be? Now, I know a lot of you are going to say that person put themselves in that situation. As long as you're following your post orders, you should be good. This is the cost of doing business. But I caution you guys to not allow the importance of optics to be a deciding factor in how you handle these things, right? One of the videos that I saw last night in relation to this was, it was in Arkansas and the police were chasing this guy. He had a backpack where previously he had a gallon of gas. Okay. He's on a motorcycle. When the cops run this guy off the road and they're chasing him, they deploy taser into the back of this guy's backpack and he erupts in the flames, right? Just the fumes of having had a gallon of gas in that backpack caused this to happen. So as I'm looking at the community of people that I generally deal with, it's the homeless community. We have these alcohol-based sanitary wipes at each one of our doors. Homeless people will come in on a daily basis and they will grab 15, 20, 30 of these and start cleaning their hands. They'll start cleaning their clothes. They'll start wiping their face down. And so after doing some research about this topic last night, I'm watching different homeless people come into the store and I'm like, they are literally coating themselves in alcohol. They're coating themselves in alcohol. And then they'll go to the counter at customer service. They'll go to the counter at self-checkout and they will bathe themselves in hand sanitizer. There's a very, very famous viral video of police officers, I believe in North Carolina, where they've got a guy inside the police station who grabs a vat of hand sanitizer and just throws it all over his body for whatever reason. And they end up tasing this guy. And again, he erupts into flames. So I want you guys to be aware that while we're thinking about, for the most part, making sure that our pepper spray or OC spray is non-flammable, also take into account the people that you're dealing with. Look at what this person is wearing. Do they look like they're working in construction? Do they look like a painter? You know, if it's the homeless community, like what I have access to and work around primarily, these people I know are screwing around with alcohol. They're bathing in butane. They're utilizing these hand sanitary wipes. Like, that is a truly eye-opening thought to think about someone going up into flames and how that could be utilized against me or against my company or against the contractor in situations where we have to go hands-on and ultimately a taser is deployed. Before I go any further, I want to get some of these comments in here. So let me pull this down. Give me 1 second here, and let me go to these comments here. Warden says, I think emotions ran too high. A young buck was too young to keep control. An old man gaslighted him well enough to get that neck injury. I'm going to assume that that's talking about the guy that got dumped on his head. PBE says, what's up? PBE makes an amazing point. You have to think like a district attorney and people who don't know anything about crime and crime fighting. So true. Because the people that are going to be sitting on the jury, they're not security guards. They're not security professionals. They're probably not law enforcement officers. Like, they're just regular people. And regular people, especially where I live, have a empathetic view of criminals. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that that's the reality of where we are, but that's the reality where we are all the same. I started to tell this story on a live stream earlier today, and, you know, I was driving out towards Washington and I couldn't get anything to work. Yesterday, I had this guy that comes into the store and he walks in and he says, hey, you know, I want to buy some food for this guy. And he points out the door. He goes, but that guy tells me that he's trespassed. And I kind of look out and it's somebody that I recognize, somebody that I've dealt with before. And I said, yes, sir, he's trespassed. I said, hey, if you want to purchase him some items, like I have no control over that, but he has trespassed. And the guy says, well, you know, I will take I'll take ownership of the situation, and he can stay with me. I'll walk him through the store. You have my word. I won't allow anything to happen. I'll keep an eye on him. I said, well, I can respect that, sir, but that's not how things work. He's trespassed. He cannot come into the store, unfortunately. But like I said, if you wish to buy him some products, you're more than welcome to do that. So the guy says, you need to have a heart. And he just walks off. And I'm like, okay. So he goes and he buys some chicken and, you know, some Gatorades or whatever. Now, in the meantime, I go outside the door and I see the guy and I'm like, hey, you know, Billy. I go, hey, Billy, you got to get off property. So he goes across the street and he sits on the curb across the street. The guy exits the store and he goes over and he waves for the trespass guy to come back over on the property. And so I'm watching this all happen out the window, and he gives the guy the food. He gives the guy the Gatorade, you know, and he pats him on the head, and the guy sits down, and I'm just like, all right, whatever. So the guy who bought the food walks down to the other door, comes in, sees me, shakes his head, and then makes a beeline right for me. And I'm like, oh, here we fucking go, right? So he walks over to me and he says, you know, I want to let you know something. I understand that you guys have rules here. I understand that you have a protocol, but that man is hungry. And I said, let me stop you. You're going to do what you want to do, right? Regardless of the fact that I've told you he's trespassed, that he's not supposed to be in the store. You're going to do what you want to do. I said, that's fine. We're on the same page. And he goes, well, clearly you've never fallen on hard times. You don't have any empathy. You don't have any empathy. You don't care about your fellow man. And I'm like, sir, normally I don't engage in these kind of conversations, but I said, sir, let me stop you. I said, I understand that you want to do something nice for this person. That particular guy has a long-standing history of violence in this store. That particular guy smokes drugs in front of our door where children, customers have to walk in. Like, this is not about me, you know, being rude or being mean or not being empathetic. You know, this is a situation that he's put himself in. Like, I am not personally doing anything, you know. And the guy says, well, you're just an asshole. And you need to have more empathy for your fellow man. And he walks off. And I started thinking to myself, these are the types of people, this guy, are the types of people that vote for the policies that have led to lack of accountability, lack of prosecution, that have put district attorneys like ours in positions of power where they view the homeless community or the drug addicted community as victims and they can do no wrong. And so when you see things like what happened last week at the Gucci store, there was a video from a local news organization that was showing the 3 people that go into the Gucci store. I believe it was in Beverly Hills, and they took like $80,000 worth of merchandise, right? And there's all of these people that are just watching it happen. At the same time, there's 2 or 3 security guards, and the security guards just kind of stand back. And so on this news broadcast, they were like, and the entire time, security just stands by and watches. And I thought that was an interesting way for them to frame that, because in the video, there's literally 15, 20, 30 people watching as these 3 people run out with $80,000 worth of stuff. Just like when you watch that Apple Store video from like 2 weeks ago or a month ago, the guy, one single guy, walks into an Apple Store and takes, $50,000 worth of iPhones. Security just stands there. But at the same time, all the other people just stood there too. Now, most of the people that were in that store, whether it's the Apple Store or whether it's the Gucci store, they would say, you know what? It's not my job to stop shoplifters. Security company and the security guards are going to say the exact same thing. It's not our job to stop shoplifters. But somewhere, something's got to change. Either the contract companies or the security companies or society, somebody somewhere is going to have to say, okay, this is enough, and it stops right here. Because it all starts with, hey, it's just food. And then it goes to, hey, they're just taking clothing. Hey, they're just taking things that allow them to stay warm. They're just taking basic necessities for housing. And then it turns to, they're just taking product. It's just a phone. It's just a purse. And then that evolves into, it's just some money. And then ultimately it's going to be, well, it's just some ass. They're going to literally come in there and take an associate. Like where does the line end? And it doesn't. The line doesn't end. Ultimately, it doesn't end. Like at some point in time, somebody somewhere is going to have to say, this is going to have to stop. But it's not going to be the security companies. It's more than likely not going to be the stores. The stores are just going to up and move to a better neighborhood, a better area. It's going to have to be the people. Like that guy who said that I was an asshole because I was enforcing a trespassing rule. Let's see what we got here. Hasman the Great, just saying hi. I'm on break watching your video right now in my car. And he says, just curious, when it comes to pepper spray, what do you prefer? Do you prefer stream, gel, cone, or foam? I like cone due to the spread. Downside is that it does not go as far as stream. I do like stream, but I generally use gel. I know that people are not a big fan of gel. They say that it takes too long for it to act. In a situation like where I work, a large presence of bystanders and people that have nothing to do with the situation, I want to make sure that I don't have overspray. I want to make sure that I don't have, potential bounce off. I want to make sure I don't have an issue with, something aerating and causing a problem for innocent bystanders. So in my situation, for me, gel has seemingly been the best bet. But again, listen, as long as you're using Sabre, in my opinion, or another reputable company, whatever works for you based on your situation. But with all the people that are in the proximity of where I'm at when I'm working, gel has been best for me. And it's also easier to clean up. PBE says, I will tell the nice person, I don't respect criminals, just like they don't respect our laws and you citizens. So fuck him and he can fuck around and find out. PBE, you are the fuck around and find out king. That is definitely how you roll, right? It also says you don't stop shoplifters. You will get ATM thieves, robbers, carjackers, armed criminals, rapists, kidnappers, and cha. I think we know what that is. Absolutely. Samuel, I don't know what that is. What is that, like a green ninja or something? All right, guys, listen, we're going to move on to my Q&A. All right. So I didn't put up the slides today. I will just read the Q&As today. First question comes from PBE. Can a national armed security company operate like the National Guard and either replace or supplement police? I would say that would be more like your military contractors that are working in a security capacity. I don't think that they would replace the National Guard. I don't think they would replace police, but I'm a huge proponent of having that conversation. I think that there's a lot of benefit to privatized security at a high level. So again, this is like your, I don't want to say Blackwater because Blackwater has a really bad history, but let's say Triple Canopy, Constellus. I like the idea of paid military contractors. I think that you get more of what it is that you're wanting without the underlying back history, if that makes sense. I don't know how much I want to go into that, but I don't think it will ever really happen, but I am open to the idea. Let's see here. American Chaos says, what do you put in your report if you weren't able to get the responding officer's badge number and name? Like if they were in a hurry to where you couldn't write it down or ask them, where you had to respond to something else as soon as they got there. So you should always make sure that if the police officers are responding to a situation, that you are getting the responding officer's card. If you can't get the responding officer's card, you should be getting another officer's card, but it needs to be the responding officer. And on the back of that card, it should already have all of their information. If you have to leave the scene and go deal with something else, you need to put someone there in your proxy. So if I was dealing with a situation, you know, Officer Dale shows up and I immediately have to go deal with another trespass individual, I have to go deal with this. I would look to another employee, either my partner or another employee from the contractor side. And I would say, hey, I need you to get a card from that person, no matter what. Do not let that person leave. It should have the police report number on it. It should have all of the officers' information. But as long as you have the police report number, you're going to be able to find the responding officer that came to that call, even if you have to do some research. So let's just say that you did not put that person in your proxy, that you did not get that card. You had to go deal with something else. Now you've come back. Everybody's gone. You're going to contact the police department. You're going to let them know who you are, where you're calling from, what situation you're calling in reference to, and they're going to give you more than likely a police report number. At the very least, I would put that police report number in the report. And I would also leave a message to have a officer contact you or your supervisor so you're able to get that information. Not difficult to do in any regard. Okay, let's go to the next question. PBE says, will there be a federal level of armed security? I could see it happening. Guys, we're approaching some really rough times. You have to look at what's going on right now. I don't want to go on a political rant about Trump, but you know, it looks like they are going to do everything they can to either keep him from running or keep him from taking office. I think that we're going to see a lot of fuckery as we get closer to the election. Yeah, I don't take it out of the realm of possibility. I don't know if I want to necessarily go down that road either. This kind of goes to the other question you asked. I'll make a video about it as we get closer to the election, but I need to do some research first because I have some thoughts on it, but I don't want to be talking out of my ass, and I need to get my thoughts together before I say some stuff on that. Okay. Scott W563. I'll put one that I get asked frequently. Can you take responsibility for an inmate in your emergency room or inpatient bed if the assigned CO has to use the restroom or go handle a different situation. I know the rules for my state and my department, but this is a good general question to address for those in healthcare security. For those of you who don't know, I do not work healthcare security. This would be a great question for security guard command. I think that he works in a hospital. I will refrain from giving you my thoughts on that because I don't know. So I would definitely ask that to somebody who works in security at a hospital. Solomon 8711 says why. That's all he said. Yeah, so my answer to that is because. Yeah, hope that answers your question. Jake Judson 8578. How often should you look directly behind you? Often enough. Guys, on a serious tip, where you stand at your location and your post is very important. There have been 2 to 3 murders of security guards in the last 3 months. There's probably been one every month. Knowing your surroundings, we say situational awareness, to death, no pun intended, but you have to be aware of your surroundings. I stand in a location where my back is basically up against a wall and I have a view to my left, directly in front of me, and to my right. It's impossible for someone to walk up behind me. If I'm not in that position and my back is exposed, I'm keeping my head on a swivel. That's why I literally end all of our videos with keep your head on the swivel. It's important, guys, because you have these situations where you interact with people, we're constantly initiating or dealing with people in terms of trespass. That situation with the guy with the chicken, the fact that I didn't let that person in, he could have come back in and had an issue. Hell, the guy that thought that I was in the wrong for not letting the trespass guy come in, he could have come in and done anything, right? If you guys are messing around with people's wives or their girlfriends or their ex-girlfriends, these are situations where you could have those kind of things happen too. So you need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to know where your back is. If your back is exposed, I don't know that you need to be doing it like an owl all the time, but you definitely need to be aware of what's going on around you and behind you. Okay. Next question is, have you heard about the purple thin line of color for security professionals yet? I have. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I don't think that we have done a good job of working collectively as a security industry, of getting people to understand that that collectively represents us. No one is going to add us to anything. It's they don't see us as first responders. Some security guards don't even see us as first responders. They don't see our job as being essential. They don't see our job as being necessary. We are going to have to be the ones who are, kind of leading the charge for respect for our industry. That's why it is so important to me. There's another question that someone asked me. I don't know if it's on the thread that I have right here, but someone asked me on one of my posts, why do you put so much time into this? They're like, why do you do this? You can't be making that much money. You don't get a lot of views on your videos. You cannot be making money doing security guard content for YouTube. And I'm not. I think I make $120 a month off of this shit. Maybe, if even that. Maybe a little bit more with whoever donates to the membership thing. But it's important to me, guys, because someone needs to do it. Someone needs to be out there trying to educate, trying to motivate, trying to train. Someone needs to be out there putting out good quality information for new guards like myself. When I came into this industry and there was shit out there for me, somebody has to do it. And I take pride in that. If the only thing that I get out of this is knowing that I've been able to help some of you, and I've met a lot of you. There's a lot of you guys that follow this channel. Some of you right here in Portland, you come to my location, you come and talk to me. You see me out in the streets. I saw a guy, I was walking my dog the other day. This guy stops and he goes, "Hey, dude, I follow you on YouTube." And he's like, "I'm getting into security, man. I've never wanted to do security. Never really thought about it, but I follow your channel. I follow your page. I watch your videos. I'm getting into security. I'm going to my class in 2 weeks, man. Thanks for everything you do." Yo, all right. That's awesome. I'm happy that I can help. Aside from that, where else would he have found that information? So, that's why I do it, because it's important for someone to do it. And I'm happy for that someone to be me, even if I don't get anything out of it. Okay. As far as the purple line thing, though, I don't know. What do you think of it? Are you a fan of that? You guys like that? Would you ever find yourself wearing a thin purple line shirt? I think you're going to get clowned if you wear some shit like that. So that's kind of how I see it. Okay. So yeah, it was Viking Elite Security. And his exact question was, why do you do so much on this platform? Is it just passion? Is it boredom? Or is it income? I'm definitely not bored. I have a ton of other shit that I should be doing. It's definitely not income. So the answer is it's passion. I'm passionate about teaching and I'm passionate about helping. Okay. American Chaos says, what is the point of carrying a taser if you already have pepper spray, 2 pairs of handcuffs, a knife, and a firearm? I do not have 2 pairs of handcuffs any longer. I used to. I took them off for weight distribution. Okay. And then number 2, the reason why I took them off is that I don't necessarily see myself handcuffing people anymore. It's possible that it could happen. In 4 years, I've used my handcuffs probably 5 times. And out of the 5 times that I've used those handcuffs, I've gotten lectured or reprimanded 2 or 3 times. Strongly told that I shouldn't have used them and that I shouldn't use them in the future. So where I work, what I do, the people that I deal with, the way that I see private security going in this area, handcuffing is becoming a bigger issue. And I don't think that it's going to be much longer before they take them away from us altogether. Do I think that that's a good thing? Do I think that that is beneficial to what we're doing? No, but unfortunately, there's way too many security guards that are utilizing handcuffs way too often and not understanding the repercussions that come from that. And I can see down the road where they're going to just say private security in Portland, private security can't have them. So I'm preparing myself for that. As for the knife, I want to make a video tomorrow at work what I use my knife for. I think you guys are going to laugh. All right. But yeah, the taser and the pepper spray and the firearm, that's force continuum. I don't use the knife for self-defense. It would be a last ditch effort weapon if I needed it, but I have other usages for my knife, and I'll show you guys tomorrow in a video. Okay. And I think that was my last question. Let me go ahead and bring up the comments here. See if you guys are asking me anything before I get out of here. Samuel says we're going to have a lot of work. Yeah. Coming up with the election. And he says he can't wait. He's a big fan of the chaos. Right. All right, guys, that is all I have. Quick live stream tonight. Not a lot going on. I think me and the wife are going to have pizza tonight, grab a beer, watch a movie, get in bed early. So, all right. Y'all have a great one. Let me know if you need anything. As always, watch your back, watch your 6, be good, be great. Take care. Peace.
I'm gonna go in. I run it up in the right kind of what? Nigga, shit so fucking hard, yeah. What? Sad, I've been swerving and the fag, I've been surfing and the fab out the pen. Now I'm a nigga working around the back.